Hi everybody, my name's Wanda, and I was wanting to talk a little bit with you about my favorite subject, which is Jesus. And I hadn't always been under the will of God. When I was young, I was raised in church. I went to church on Sunday. I went to church on Wednesday. Went to Vacation Bible School. I loved Vacation Bible School. And I went to church right on up until I was a teenager. We quit going to church. I don't really know for what reason. My mom remarried, and she married. My dad died when I was 10, and my mom remarried when I was 15. And our home life weren't very good after that. There was a lot of problems with my stepdad. I would steal away sometimes and go down to the cow pasture and carry my Bible. I would sit down there by myself and read the Bible. My favorite passage in the Bible was 23rd Psalms. I've always loved that. The 23rd Psalms. It always gave me comfort in when things weren't going so good. And I would just sit down there by myself and read the Bible. And then I lived there till I was about 17, a little over 17. Between 17 and 18, I left home. And like most everybody else, I went out into the world and started drinking and doing some stuff that I really shouldn't have been doing. I didn't do nothing really bad per se, but according to the Bible, if you broke one commandment, you've broke them all, more or less. I mean, but when I was 19, I got on a drinking binge one weekend and got poisoned off alcohol and almost died. I was sick. I didn't even hardly know I was in the world. I spent the better part of a week laying on the floor in my bathroom. But thank God I had a good friend that stayed there with me through it all and took care of me. She was there. How she put up with me, I don't have no idea. It was just by the grace of God that she was there and she took care of me. Her name's Mary, and she's like a sister. I love her to death. And she was there. And she done stuff. She helped me and done stuff for me that there ain't too many people would go through what she went through with me that week. But I just want to say thank her and thank the good Lord for sending her to me as a friend. But it'd been about 5 days And I finally started getting a little over coming around some till I was aware of what was going on. And I asked the Lord, I said, Lord, if you'll let me get over this, I promise you I'll never do this again. And God don't make bargains, but I made a bargain with him. And I got the feeling a little bit better. Mind you, I hadn't eaten nothing in several days. Hadn't even drunk no water or nothing in several days. Couldn't keep nothing down. I'd lost about 15, 20 pounds. And was dehydrated. I was in bad shape. But I started coming around. And Mary, she helped me get a shower and everything. Helped me change my clothes and stuff. And helped me into the living room. And I was sitting there, and my stomach was growling. You could hear it growling all over the house. She asked me, did I want something to eat? I told her I was hungry, but I was scared to eat anything. I told her to give me some saltine crackers. We had saltine crackers in there because I used to eat a lot of soup and stuff. And I was able to keep the saltines down. And she brought me some Coca-Cola. I couldn't drink water. And I managed to keep some Coca-Cola down. So later on, she scrambled some eggs. And she asked me, did I want any? And I told her I'd try them and see if I could keep them down. I ate a few scrambled eggs. I was able to keep them down. And from then on, it just kept getting better. I got better. Started feeling better and everything. And it was a good thing because that was something like on a Thursday or Friday, and I had to go to work Monday because we was on vacation. But anyway, I got over that. But I told Mama about it after I got over it. And she told me, she said, you made a bargain with God. She said, you better keep your word. She said, you better not go back on that bargain. And I told her I wouldn't. Later on, I would keep taking a drink every now and again to be sociable. But I had pretty much laid off the alcohol. I didn't drink it like I did before. And I got married and everything. And had a son. And one weekend, it was about 2000. It was after my mom passed away in 2000. And I got sick. It was about 1980, somewhere in that neighborhood, 80, 81. And this was 2000. So it had been 2000, 2001. It had been 17, 18, something like that. Anyway, my cousin came one day, and she was going to be singing at a club. She wanted me to go with her. She didn't want to go by herself. So I told her I would. I went with her to a club somewhere in Conway. And I was sitting in there drinking Coca-Cola because I had swore off alcohol. But they kept right on and right on, said it had been all this time, and said it probably wouldn't hurt me. But so I decided I let them talk me into getting a drink. I drank a whiskey sour. Went against my better judgment and against God's voice telling me not to do it. So I went on. I drunk that and drunk part of it, got another one, and drunk about half of it. And I was in the bathroom throwing up. We had to leave early and go home. For 3 days I was out of it. Sick. My husband, he took care of me. He even called my boss. I'd done security work at the time. He even called my boss and told him I had food poisoning to keep me from losing my job. And I told the Lord then, I said, this is it. Never again. Never again. So, I quit. I found out my system can't process alcohol. I'm allergic to it. I can't filter it. My system won't filter alcohol. It stays in my system, and alcohol will literally kill me. But it's been 19 years, and I've not drunk nothing. I can't even drink cough syrup. Don't drink nothing with alcohol in it. I'm glad the Lord took the taste away. Alcohol is just one of the Satan's devices that he uses to bring us down. We think that what we're doing out in the world of sin, we're having fun. We think it's fun out there just having a blast, ripping up and down the river, cooking out, which there's nothing wrong with either one of that. It's the sin factor. The alcohol causes stuff to happen. You get out there running around with this one or that one, playing the harlot, so to speak, drinking. All that is the devil's devices. We're not having fun. We're just setting ourselves up for failure. That's breaking the commandments. And the devil uses that. The devil, all he wants to do is steal our souls away from Jesus. And he don't care what he has to do it. He is there to kill, steal, and destroy. And that's what drinking, racing, other stuff like this, breaking the laws, doing different stuff, that's what it does. It destroys us. You get out there racing somebody else. You're not only putting yourself in jeopardy, you're putting everybody on the road in jeopardy. Our actions cause consequences. There is consequences for our actions. And what we do does affect other people. Whether we want to believe that or not, what we do affects other people. You get out there racing somebody, you round this curve, you don't know what's around that curve. You don't know what is ahead of you. You're taking your life in your hands, and you're taking somebody else's life in your hands. And a lot of times, what we do might not hurt us, but it'll impact and hurt somebody else. We were going to school one morning. It was back in the 70s. I was in about the 7th grade. It was 1974, I believe it was. And we come up on a very bad wreck. These 4 boys in this car, they had, I want to think it was a big Impala they had, I'm not sure, but I think it was an Impala. And this other guy come up side of them and kept on, they were on their way to school. But this other man, he came up and he kept right on wanting to test their car. So these boys, willing to see which one of the cars was the fastest, agreed to race with him. So they took off racing. They went around this curve, and the boys was in the left lane and he was in the right lane. And they went around this curve. There was this man driving a gas truck, It's a regular sized pickup, but it's got the small gas bottles in the back of it. They hit this guy head on. The truck exploded on impact, caught on fire. 3 of the boys was thrown out of, 2 of the boys was thrown out of the car. One went through the windshield, one ended up in the ditch. One of them had the motor laying out there. And the one that was in the back seat, all 3 of the boys was killed. One of them was lived, but he was paralyzed from his waist down. The man in the truck burnt to death when the truck exploded. That's the awfulest thing I've ever come up on in my life. That's the awfulest thing I've ever seen. See, those 4 boys was going to school. This other guy kept right on till they raced with him. They ended up killing an innocent man that was on his way to work. He had a family, children. Their choice, the decision they made to race, killed 4 people and paralyzed another one. So see, we have choices, and the choices we make affects other people. It's the sin factor. Making choices without God's direction leads to destruction. But God gave us free will, so we can make the choice for ourselves. God could make everybody do His will, do His bidding, but He gave us free will because He wants us to decide for ourselves whether to follow Him or not. And too many of us like what the world has to offer better, seems like, than what God has to offer. I heard that somebody told me one time that you can't have no fun if you follow God. I used to think I was having fun when I was out there doing that. But it might have seemed like fun, but I didn't realize what I was doing to myself, what I was doing to my soul. But since I got saved, I look at things a lot different. I ain't gonna say I have, well, yes I am. I have more fun now than I did back then. I ain't gonna call it fun though. I'm gonna say joy. I've got joy in my heart. The joy of the Lord lives in my heart. And I'm content, like I am. If you get joy of the Lord in your heart, you won't desire this other stuff. There won't be nothing for you in this other stuff. The world can't offer you one thing that is worth losing your soul over. Houses rot and crumble to the ground. Termites, carpenter ants, eat them from the ground up. They eat the studs out the walls. Houses crumble. Vehicles break down and rust and fall by the wayside. Money, people can steal your money, steal your identities, credit cards. Overnight you can lose everything you got. But you cannot, nobody can steal what God gives you. Nobody can't steal your salvation and your joy that's in your heart for Jesus. Nobody can't steal that. And when you die, when you leave this world, you leaving all of your belongings, worldly belongings, behind. You cannot take them with you. You cannot use them as a bargaining chip. That part of your existence is over. You leaving it for somebody else. But if you're in the will of God, when you leave this world, you are going to a much better place and far more riches than you could ever imagine. Heaven is somewhere I long to be. I got people waiting for me. I got a loving Father that's waiting for me. And there's nothing in this world that I would trade my place in heaven for. There's nothing on this earth that could even compare. And I just hope that anybody listening to this video will find Jesus and find the joy that I found. Jesus is the way. You put your trust and faith in Jesus, and you can't go wrong. Jesus brought me out of my sinful life. He took the alcohol away. He has blessed me immensely. What He's done for me, He'll do for everybody. He'll do it for you, everybody else. You've just got to have trust and faith and belief. You've got to believe that Jesus died on the cross to save, so you could have everlasting life, eternal life. You've got to believe that He is the Son of God, and He was sent to this earth to die so we could live. And you've got to put your trust in Him and accept Him as your Savior. That'll give you a place in heaven with the Father. And I just pray that everybody listening will accept Jesus and build a relationship with Him. Because all the devil wants to do is destroy and steal away the treasures you have waiting on you in heaven. Well, I just hope that what I've had to say tonight will inspire some of you out there, and will help some of you. Don't let the devil steal away what God has to offer. Because what we got here on this earth is short term. We're just passing through this world. We're passing through this world on our way home. This is not home. This is just a stopping place until Jesus comes back and calls us home. I just hope y'all will get a blessing from this. And will accept Jesus. I'll be praying for everybody out there. And hoping that if you don't know Jesus, that you will come to know Him. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and hope you have a blessed night. May God bless you and keep you. Until next time.